everything off underneath. Underwear, bra, jewelry. They have rings. They can remove them, great. If they say no, we'll work around it. You'll see belly buttons, rings in all of them a lot of the times. So they don't want to take those out. Sometimes they can't, depending on how the ring is. All right, so when you're setting up, you still get your 2 minutes. You always want to start with the other group. I started backwards. I'm going to go in correct order now. So, setting up for my PHS. Is this right, SID?
72.
There you go. So we're going to set up for a PA chest. That's first, okay? You guys should remember that. All right, Miss Leah. Hi. All right, I'm gonna have you face the board for me, okay? Nice and close. Roll those shoulders forward. If you want, you can hug the board, help out a little bit. Got my cassette in lengthwise for her. Okay, collimation way too much. That's going from my 40-inch SID to 72, by the way. So I'm gonna go to my 17, go to my 14, okay? Actually, I need to come up a little bit with her. Okay. Bring this down a little bit, ma'am. I'm just gonna grab your arm real quick, okay? Left marker. Put it right here in my light field. Okay. Shield your patient. This is the only one you shield for. The only one you shield for. Okay. How many breaths do we do on the chest?
2.
Okay. So deep breath in, blow it out. Another deep breath in, hold it. Take your exposure. Tell them to breathe and relax. Okay. All right. Done our PA chest. I'm not spending too much time on that one. We just did that one. All right, ma'am, I'm gonna get you to turn around for me 1 second. Before you do, hold on. I'll go ahead and take my marker because I've already got my light field up. Everything's matched up right now. I'm gonna go ahead and move it to the bottom of my light field, okay? Because even if I move this, I still have to match my tube up, so it's gonna be fine. All right, go ahead and put your back against the board for me. Nice and straight. All right, I'm gonna have you come forward just a little bit. I don't wanna clip your booty, I'm sorry. Back up against the board for me, okay? You want to make sure your patient's against the board, okay? You don't want them, off the board because they're going to start swaying. It's going to allow for movement. From here, we need to come in to 40. Our upright abdomen, okay? So the crests, everybody has them. So you're going to come in. I'm going to touch your hip a little bit, so I can feel right here. I'm hitting hip. I need to come up a little bit. So I got crest here. I'm going to go up and I'm hitting inferior rib margin. Inferior rib margin is technically 2 inches above your iliac crest. That's the 2 inches above your crest you need for upright. So keep my fingers here. Bring this. So, from 72 to 40, look at my collimation. I was at 14 by 17, but see how much it shrinks? Make sure you adjust, okay? Believe it or not, students forget. So I'm gonna open up to my 17, go to my 14, okay? I'm still at my inferior margin. I'm still 2 inches above. That didn't change. The only thing I did was open my light field, okay? So now, got my central ray where I need it. All right, go ahead and lean back for me. All right, I have some breathing instructions for you. Okay, this is the one where you can already be at your control panel. Okay, this is the only time I'm gonna do this one today. Okay, so you come over here, everything's already gonna be set. Okay, so I'm already at 85 at 10, I've got wall bucky. All right, I'm going to get on my rotor. All right, go ahead and take that deep breath in for me. Let it all the way out. Hold it out, don't breathe, don't move. Breathe and relax. You want to give them a chance to finish breathing, okay? So you're fine to have your finger right here, ready to go, okay? So, but be mindful, patients like to move and reach up and touch things and turn lasers off and that kind of thing. That is the upright, okay? I want everybody, I'm gonna let y'all feel bony landmarks when we get her on the table. It's easier on the table, okay? I started backwards with the first group because I wanted them to feel the bony landmarks first, but I figured this time I'm gonna go in order. Always do your uprights first, okay? So that's your first two. Not too bad. Okay, how many breaths for the first? Two. Okay, deep breath in, blow it out, take another deep breath in, hold it. All right, let me get you to relax for just a second. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and start setting up my table. Let your patient relax. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this over. This is where I make sure, get my table straight, I have table here and up here. I try to make it equidistant, okay? Where my base is in the center. I go ahead, all right, put this at my 40 image grid. I can see that my table's at the appropriate height, my light is on here. Remember, the back one out there, you need to make sure it pauses, because we don't have a light on that one, okay? All right, ma'am. So 1 second, if you want to go ahead and do this for the moment, you can. I'm gonna put my cassette in just a second. Pull this out of the way. If you want to line these two up first, it's fine, okay? But move this out of the way to get your patient on the table. All right, I'm gonna have you come over here for me. I'm gonna have you get on the table for me. And I just told her to get on the table, that's all I told her. Gotta be specific, because you'll have patients, if you don't tell them to lie flat on their back, they're gonna, yeah. My favorite is I told a patient to lie on their back. They still lied on their stomach. I said, your other back. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna get you to put your feet down here and go ahead and lay your head on that pillow for me.
Quick question. Do we still have to verbalize changing the cassette out?
If you're verbalizing it or verbalize the next position. All right, I'm gonna move you to your next position. That's fine. I don't harp as much on that now because so many places are digital, but we do still have a couple that are CR, so just tell me you're going to the next position, or if you just wanna, that's fine too. I'm gonna leave that one there. All right, so we'll go ahead and bring this over. You doing okay?
Yeah, Mr. Gardner didn't have two pillows. He was trying to break my neck over there.
All right. So how long's this pain been going on?
2 weeks.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I am going to have to poke a little bit more on your side, so if it's too tender, let me know. Okay? Again, it is okay to talk about the history during the exam, so you don't feel like you have to do it all at the beginning. Okay? Especially if you forget and you're like, oh man, I forgot to ask them what's going on. As long as you remember at some point during the exam, you are okay. Okay? All right. So, got her here, crest. Her crest, get in here like this, okay? Don't be afraid. It's like, all right, I'm gonna put my hands on your hips real quick. Go right in here. We want top of the crest. I don't want below it. She's got great ACEs. And you guys are gonna come feel ACEs. Everybody come right here. I want you to feel the bony landmarks. That's ACEs, okay? Then follow it up. That's top of the crest, okay? All right. Come on, Miss Mexico. This is that bony landmark ACEs. Okay, follow it up. You can put your hand here and curve up. Okay. But you want to go top of the crest.
Okay.
Because it feels like you're right here at the crest, but you want to be top of it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Come on, Winfred. So this is ACEs right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's fine. You're fine. Right there. That's ACEs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come up. Follow it up. That's crest. That's top of the crest.
A little higher. You're kind of low.
Yeah, a little bit higher.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right there.
don't be afraid. Got to get in there, and it's okay if you want to just get in here like this, so you don't feel like you're. That's another reason why we keep our nails short, because you are going to have those techs who they still do the nails even though they're not supposed to. That's when they're going to come in this way because you don't want to stab your patient with your nails. All right. Right here is the ACEs. Right here, that bony landmark is very prominent. Follow it up. That's top of the crest. Okay. Alright, everybody felt? Okay. Alright, so now that I've got her there, I've got my collimation. I'm at my 17 by 14. I'm doing her lengthwise. Ted is the one I'm going to show you the 2 crosswise on, okay? We are going to have some guys for patients. Alright, so I'm coming here on the top of the crest. Okay. The other thing too, I use xiphoid here. Now that when they're lying down, it's easier to do, especially when we're just letting them know. Like, all right, I'm gonna put my hand right here on your stomach for just a second so I can make sure I got you centered. I have her centered, okay? Have crest. So the other thing that you can do, and she has a little hip here, but she's still got good trochanter. So I'm gonna slide your pen or your lip gloss out. Sorry. Sorry. So you're gonna get in here. I'm gonna find yours. Hold on. Relax. All right. Bring your toes up. Ah, there it is. Actually, wait a minute. Nope, you're right here. Okay, relax. Ah, there we go. All right. So base of my hand. Bring it back up. Okay, so I want everybody's gonna come feel this too. I'm gonna leave her foot here. So where my palm is, I can actually feel greater trochanter. Greater trochanter, my light field's hitting, I'm guaranteed to have pubic symphysis, okay? That's kind of your last thing. You can never go by a woman's crease. Cannot go by those, cannot go by seams of pants for centering on checkoff day. Please do not do that. A lot of people do, and they're almost always off center. So from here, all right, everybody come. You're gonna put your hand right here. I'm gonna leave your hand right here, and then come on, palm of the hand. So palm of the hand right here. All right, she's gonna relax. See it go away. Feel it come back. That's your trochanter. Okay. All right, who's next? Here, hold up. All right, so relax one time. Okay, there we go. All right, right here. Put your palm there. It's a little bit easier. Because you can really get in there. All right, right there. Just gonna relax. See it, feel it go away. There you go. There's your trochanter coming back in. You guys got great trochanters.
Thank
Who's
you.
next? Come on. So right here, that bony prominence. Feel that hard spot there? And watch it go away. Come up.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, have them relax. Put your hand where you think it would be, and as soon as you feel it move, you're like, oh, okay, that's where it is. And you can adjust your hand. All right, right here. See right there? Relax. Oh, yeah.
Feel that thing, girl?
Yeah, I feel it. But those are the prominent bony landmarks. ACEs, crest, and don't be afraid if you need to. Say, all right, I'm gonna feel for both because I want to make sure. Grab, get on both sides. I can see I'm good. I know I'm gonna have pubic symphysis. Okay. Now this is clinic, strictly clinic. This is not for checkoff. Checkoff, for the love of God, please be at crest because we will ding you for it if you are below it. Okay. There are gonna be instances where she's almost got a long torso, but you're gonna have patients have a little bit longer, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to have to do 2 X-rays because they're not worried about seeing diaphragm. You will have some techs that go just below the crest so they can make sure that they're good. Some of them, because they're lazy, they literally do this just because, and then I see so much of the lower part of the pelvis, the obturator foramen, those holes, and then the ischial tuberosities, that's what you sit on, your butt bone, that people, when you dig it into them, that's your ischial tuberosity, by the way, that you're digging into people. So, but they'll do that on purpose. I don't need that. I literally, like I said, if I just see the rim of the pubic symphysis, you're gold, okay? So, but with her, I'm fairly certain, there we go. See how much lower I am to the greater trochanter? I'm gonna get a lot of stuff I don't need. So, back up. And you guys will get to a point when you're centering with the table, because I know you guys are still getting used to the floating aspect. You'll be able to move it in micro increments, not where as soon as it goes, you're like, holy crap. So, still at crest, I'm still centered, okay? Same thing, deep breath in, Blow it out. Hold it out. Don't breathe, don't move. Marker placement. Some people will put this up here. I'm not a fan of this. Number one, if you have a dirty old man, he's gonna try and get you to touch things you don't want to touch. And sometimes it can turn on its side, and you can see it, but you can't see it. So safe bet, right here, bottom corner of your cassette. Now, if you have a super slender person and you're like, man, I got a lot of leg field, it's okay to move this over just a little bit. I wouldn't move it like all the way in here. Okay, I would just move it in just a little bit, so it's still gonna be within your collimation field, okay? So, but yeah, as long as you put it right in there, you're good. This keeps it out of the central anatomy. Yes, it's still gonna be like femoral head area, that's fine. I'm worried about here, okay? I'm worried about this area right here where my light field is, okay? That would be the 3 projections you have to do this week, okay? Any questions? All right, I'm gonna bring, is Ted? He's demoing Ted?
Yeah.
All right, well, since he's demoing Ted, I'm gonna go ahead and do it on her. We're gonna pretend she's a larger patient, okay? So, I'm gonna do 2 crosswise. I'm gonna show you all that. So I'm gonna switch my cassette. 2 crosswise. Okay, match everything up, push this in nice and tight, lock it. Same thing, pop my marker right in there, okay? All right, switch up my collimation, 17 to 14. Okay, so here, I find the ACEs, okay? You actually have your crosshair for the lower half right at the ACEs, okay? Make sure you center her up. The other thing too is, if you don't want, on a woman, if you don't want to feel like you're being inappropriate, look for a jugular notch. Most women will have that head neck up and you can line it up that way. So that's another helpful point for our men. So, all right, make sure she's nice and centered. You're welcome. You're welcome. So she's, if you want, she's fine. Slender patients and pediatric patients, you can ask for belly button. Adolescents, pediatrics, you can. Some of your slender adults. Larger adults, do not use a belly button. Some of your slender patients too, like when you're setting up and centering, for some patients, not really. Some patients, the elbow does line up with the crest. Sometimes, not all the time. I'm not a proponent of that, just because it's not every patient. You're gonna have that one patient, they're out like this, their iliac crest is not, even when they stand up, their arms are still out like this a little bit. You can't rely on that solely, right? So, all right, this is for our first one, okay? All right, I always start with the bottom first. Crosshair goes straight across both ACEs. Our ACEs is right here, both sides. Great ACEs, man.
Is one higher than the other?
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah. It's minimal. It's minimal. All right, so from here, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my hand on your stomach for a second. Put my hand at the top of the light field. This is where I'm gonna go light field to light field, okay? I was like, well, should we be centered in it? Not when you're doing 2 crosswise on large patients. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna go until I touch. Come back a little. So, now with her, because this is fine. A lot of, if you notice remember on your upright, it looks like you have a lot of breast tissue in there. That's normal. If you have this on 2 crosswise, that's still okay. But I have the necessary overlap that's needed. So I literally do, keep your hand in the same spot, light field to light field. Started here, I move down till I hit here and my index finger, okay? Now I do have some of her arms in the view. So this, in this instance, actually collimate a little side to side, just a little, because I don't really need her humerus in the image, okay? Collimate just a little. And sometimes, if you have enough space, You will see some techs throw it up on the table, but you're still fine leaving it right here. Okay. All right. Breathing instructions are the same. Now, if you do happen to end up with Ted, he's going to be 2 crosswise. So you still have 3 projections, but 4 images you're going to be doing. Okay. That's what I was just showing you on her. Light field to light field. Okay, makes sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. Questions? Any questions?
Maybe just with, you said with Ted. So
I'm gonna have him come up here in just a
okay.
second.
But so if we have him on checkoff day, we'll have to try to.
You on a supine. Now his chest you still do crosswise. You do him crosswise. Now the other thing too with some of your larger patients in clinic, they will do larger patients the upright crosswise. And again, that's fine. But Ted, you can technically do either way on abdomen. You can either do him crosswise, or you can do it lengthwise. Just remember, you're going from crosswise on your chest, flipping it to lengthwise or portrait for your upright abdomen. Okay? I'm not going to ding you if you happen to do his upright abdomen crosswise too. Because again, they do it in clinic, it's fine. Because we want to capture as much area as possible. And I'm still going to see top iliac crest, even if I am doing it crosswise. Because I'm still going to hit inferior rib margin as L2, L3. And that's where I'm centering. I'm still going to get diaphragm, even if it's crosswise. And I can actually show you Aaliyah too. Aaliyah. All right, Miss Aaliyah. Hop back up here by the board for me real quick. Slide this away. Sorry. Alright, so we're going to come back in to our 40. Alright, so she's back to. Look at you. See just like this. Yeah. There we go. I knew something wasn't right. There we go. All right, push back up against here. But remember to fix your marker. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in my light field right there. Okay. So she's crosswise. Inferior rib margin is here. The only thing I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go a little bit lower. Okay. And I can still see xiphoid's here, she's centered. Another thing too, if you want to get to the end of the table, you can look down and still see if they're centered or not. Because you can still see her jugular notch too. But this is crosswise. I still got crest in there, light field, it's fine. We're gonna pretend the cassette's in here crosswise. But again, that's not, and again, I might would collimate just a little side to side, just a little, because she's got smaller margins. But most patients you're not gonna need to. So you're just gonna leave it open. Leave it at the 14. Oh, sorry, no, 17. So this is if she was a bigger patient, like 10. But light field, I'm still seeing what I need to see. Does that help? Seeing it crosswise this way too. This is only for larger patients. Slender patients, you still need to do lengthwise. Now, Centera Williamsburg, regardless of the abdomen, they automatically do two. They'll put one up high, they'll put the top of the cassette at the armpit level, and they center one a little bit lower. Okay. All right. Now ready to start manipulating and positioning? Set me up for a